Today, our story is about two power-hungry witches in the real world, using dark, occult magic to try and outwit each other in a battle of supernatural forces. But in the end, which one will win? Vincent Hawthorne's journey into the world of business began in the shadows of desperation. Born into poverty, he struggled to make ends meet in a city that showed no mercy to the downtrodden. Fate, however, had a different plan for Vincent. As he toiled away in a humble, mundane job that barely paid the bills, Vincent met Isabella. Her beauty was captivating, her demeanor mysterious. Unknown to Vincent, Isabella hailed from a long line of witches, practitioners of dark arts that transcended generations. Her family's grimoires contained spells that promised power, wealth, and success. Isabella, smitten by Vincent's determination and potential, decided to weave her enchantments around him. The Dark Pact was sealed, and Vincent's rise to success began with an otherworldly acceleration. His small business flourished, expanding into realms he had only dreamed of. Investments paid off, partnerships flourished, and doors that were once closed swung wide open. Vincent attributed his success to hard work and determination, blissfully unaware of the threads of dark magic woven into the fabric of his prosperity. Isabella, always at his side, masked her machinations with love and support. She reveled in the power she drew from the ancient spells, ensuring that Vincent's ascent continued unabated. The city, oblivious to the unnatural force propelling Vincent forward, admires his meteoric rise. Yet, with every success, Agatha, a witch of the same occult lineage, felt her own powers wane. The stolen magic cast a shadow over her abilities, leaving her desperate and resentful. Determined to reclaim what she believed was rightfully hers, Agatha began her investigation into the source of Vincent's prosperity. Agatha's dimly lit apartment, cluttered with ancient tomes and mystical artifacts, served as her sanctuary. Frustration etched lines on her face as she tried spell after spell, each one met with failure. The once potent witch found herself shackled by an unseen force, her magical endeavors crumbling like ancient parchment. Her scrying mirror flickered as she attempted to peer into the future, seeking a glimpse of the success that eluded her. However, the visions were clouded, obscured by a malevolent force that seemed to mock her with every failed attempt. Agatha's desperation grew, and in quiet hours of the night, she consulted the grimoires passed down through her family. The ancient pages whispered of a connection between power and sacrifice, a sinister dance that she could not ignore. Determined to understand the source of her downfall, Agatha delved deeper into the arcane texts. It was during a sleepless night that the truth revealed itself. The words on the yellow pages spoke of an intertwining of destinies, a magical symbiosis that connected Isabella and Vincent. Agatha's heart sank as she realized that Isabella's enchantments were not only fueling Vincent's success, but also acting as a shield, deflecting and nullifying any magic attempt to rival her influence. The revelation struck Agatha like a physical blow. The magic she should have inherited, the birthright that should have made her formidable, was being stifled by Isabella's dark arts. A surge of anger and determination coursed through her veins. Agatha knew she had to confront Isabella, to break the enchantments that bound her magic and reclaim the power that was rightfully hers. Agatha's determination to unravel the dark enchantments led her down a treacherous path. With her newfound knowledge of the magical link between Isabella and Vincent, Agatha devised a plan to get closer to the unsuspecting businessman. She frequented the same social circles, attending events where Vincent was a shining star, his success illuminating the room. Isabella, attuned to the ebb and flow of dark magic, sensed a disturbance. A flicker in the ethereal energy set off alarms in her mind. Unbeknownst to Agatha, Isabella's instinct, honed by years of occult practice, warned her of an intruder in the carefully constructed world. Agatha, with a beguiling charm born of desperation, began to weave her own web around Vincent. She strategically placed herself in his path, engaging in conversation that danced on the edge of flirtation. Vincent, oblivious to the arcane dance unfolding around him, found Agatha's company enchanting. Isabella, however, was not one to be trifled with. Sensing the threat to the delicate balance of her enchantments, she decided to confront Agatha. In a clandestine meeting beneath the boughs of an ancient tree, Isabella attempted to hex her rival. Dark incantations whispered through the night air, but, to Isabella's dismay, the hex recoiled, its power dissolving into the shadows. Agatha, shrouded in an unseen shield of protection, stood defiant against the assault. Isabella's eyes widened with realization, a mixture of fear and recognition flickering across her face. The fouled hex was a revelation. Agatha was not a mere interloper. She too was a wielder of dark magic. The confrontation left Isabella seething with anger and paranoia. Her suspicions of Agatha's true nature fueled a growing darkness within her. Unbeknownst to Vincent, the delicate threads of the enchantment were fraying, and the once seamlessly tapestry of prosperity began to show signs of unraveling. As Agatha continued her intricate dance with Vincent, she delved further into the shadows. The stage was set for a confrontation that would decide the fate of the intertwined destinies and reveal the true extent of the dark powers at play. Vincent's nights took a sinister turn as a looming shadow began to stalk his every move. Unseen eyes observed him from the darkness, and the air seemed charged with an otherworldly tension. Isabella, perceptive to the shifts in magical currents, sensed the presence, but couldn't pinpoint its origin. Agatha, driven by desperation and the need for distraction, had summoned a minor demon in the form of a sleek black panther. The creature, a manifestation of Agatha's growing prowess in the dark arts, prowled through the shadows, its amber eyes fixated on Vincent. Vincent, unaware of the supernatural forces closing in around him, started to feel the weight of an unseen gaze. On the periphery of his vision, he caught glimpses of a feline silhouette, its form fluid and elusive. The night air grew thick with the creature's presence, and Vincent's senses heightened, attuned to the primal instincts that warned of an imminent threat. On a moonlit evening, as Vincent traversed a dimly lit alley, the panther materialized from the inky blackness. Its growls reverberated through the stillness, a chilling symphony of menace. Vincent's heart raced as he turned to confront the creature, his eyes widening in horror. The panther lunged with supernatural speed, claws unsheathed and fangs bared. Vincent fought back with a primal instinct, his survival instincts kicking in. In the moonlit struggle, the air crackled with arcane energy. The panther, a manifestation of Agatha's conjured malevolence, left its mark on Vincent's flesh. A searing pain tore through him as claws racked across his skin, leaving behind a scar that pulsed with dark energy. The creature, having delivered its message, vanished into the shadows as swiftly as it appeared. Vincent, disorientated and bleeding, stumbled back into the pool of the dim streetlight. He clutched the fresh wound, his mind swirling with confusion. The encounter left him haunted by the primal intensity of the attack and the unearthly growls that echoed in the depths of his consciousness. As Vincent grappled with the aftermath, Isabella sensed the disturbance, but remained ignorant of Agatha's involvement. The scar, an emblem of the unseen forces at play, marked the beginning of a descent into a realm where shadows held secrets. Now we're going to have a short scare break while you ease your nerves. So while you're waiting, don't forget, if you're enjoying the content, go ahead and stab that subscribe button right now. As doing so, you'll really help the professor spread his shadow of evil. Now, Let's get back to the story. Isabella's fury burned like a raging inferno as she surveyed the scar that marked Vincent's skin. The whispers of the arcane winds carried the scent of Agatha's magic, and in that moment of revelation, Isabella's eyes narrowed with a mixture of anger and determination. The ancient grimoire in Isabella's possession crackled with power as she traced her fingers over its weathered pages. Her lips moved in a silent incantation, summoning a force to match the dark panther that had terrorized Vincent. Isabella's conjuration manifested. A shadowy figure unfolded into a magnificent dark eagle, its wings stretching wide with ethereal grace. The creature's eyes gleamed with a malevolence that mirrored its mistress's rage. Deadly talons flexed in anticipation as the dark eagle fixed its gaze on Isabella. A wicked smile played across Isabella's lips as she whispered, "Let's see how she likes this." The dark eagle took flight, its wings slicing through the night air as it soared towards Agatha's realm. Isabella's magic guided the creature with deadly precision, an avian spectre sent to retaliate against the intruder who dared to threaten her carefully crafted enchantments. In the shadows, Agatha felt the shift in the magical currents. A sense of foreboding gripped her as the air crackled with dark energy. Unbeknownst to her, the dark eagle closed in, its form undetectable to mortal eyes as it descended upon Agatha's sanctuary. The first sign of the impending danger was the haunting screech that pierced the stillness of Agatha's ritual chamber. She turned in time to witness a dark eagle materialize from the shadows, its talons poised to strike. Panic flashed in Agatha's eyes as she realized the retribution Isabella had unleashed. The ensuing battle between the summoned creatures unfolded with supernatural intensity. The dark eagle clashed with the shadowy panther, a collision of arcane forces that reverberated through the ethereal plane. Agatha, caught in the crossfire, struggled to maintain her control over her creation. As feathers and fur entwined in a dance of otherworldly combat, the moon cast an eerie glow over the mystical battlefield. The clash of summoned beings marked a turning point in the occult war between Isabella and Agatha, a dark symphony playing out against the backdrop of a world where magic and malice converged into a deadly dance. The clash between the summoned demons raged on, a tumultuous battle that echoed through the mystical plane. Agatha, caught in the crossfire, felt the drain of her magical reserves intensify. The panther and eagle, locked in the deadly dance, began to cancel each other out, leaving behind a void of depleted energy. Agatha, her strength waning, stumbled back from the unfolding chaos. Her breaths came in ragged gasps as she realized that the confrontation had become a perilous gamble, threatening to consume the very essence of her magical abilities. In a moment of desperation, Agatha's eyes fell upon an ancient set of runes resting on her ritual altar. The symbols, imbued with potent magic, represented a last-ditch effort to tip the scales in her favor. A plan formed in her mind. If a minor demon couldn't do the trick, it was time to unleash a major one. With trembling hands, Agatha inscribed a set of intricate runes onto a parchment, channeling the last dregs of her magical energy into their symbols. Her plan was audacious yet necessary. She had to slip the enchanted parchment to either Vincent or Isabella, and in doing so, unleash a force that would tip the balance in her favor. However, Isabella, ever vigilant, sensed the shift in Agatha's intentions. Isabella's intuition whispered a warning. She approached Vincent with a grave expression, cautioning him against accepting anything from anyone, especially in these times of turbulence. Whatever happens in these turbulent times, Vincent, you must not accept anything from anyone, not money, not checks. If you drop something, do not accept it back. You must not take anything from anybody. Vincent, although bewildered by Isabella's sudden solemnity, heeded her advice. The warning planted a seed of suspicion in his mind, and he became hyper-aware of his surroundings. Agatha, weakened and desperate, watched her plan unravel as Vincent, guided by Isabella's caution, refused the parchment offered by a seemingly innocent passerby after they knocked a set of books out of his hand, picked them up, and offered to give them back. He walked off, leaving the books on the floor. The runes, potential game changer, remain untouched and inert. Frustration and fatigue etched deep lines on Agatha's face as her gamble crumbled before her eyes. The drain on her magical reserves intensified, leaving her vulnerable and exposed. The once formidable witch, now weakened and depleted, faced the consequences of her audacious ploy as the battle of the occult between her and Isabella continued. The battle had taken its toll on both Isabella and Agatha. Weakened and drained from the relentless clashes of summoned demons, the two witches stood at the precipice of a final confrontation. Isabella, cunning and strategic, decided it was time to end the game. With an air of feigned vulnerability, Isabella reached out to Agatha, proposing a truce. She suggested a meeting under the guise that both were too weakened by the mystical warfare to continue their battle. In a clandestine gathering in the heart of the city, Isabella and Agatha faced off, their eyes filled with exhaustion and a lingering sense of distrust. "I propose a truce," Isabella declared, her voice carrying the weariness of a battle-weary sorceress. "We are both on the brink of losing everything. It's time to end this." Agatha, swayed by the fatigue that gripped her, considered Isabella's words. The offer of a truce, combined with the promise of a proportion of the wealth that had eluded her for so long, proved too tempting to resist. After an intense exchange, Agatha reluctantly agreed to the terms. Isabella, with a calculating smile, handed Agatha a check for $5 million. "Consider it compensation for the troubles," she said, her voice carrying a note of deceptive sweetness. "And of course, I'll remove the spells hindering your success. A fair exchange for a truce." Basking in her apparent victory, Agatha left the meeting with a sense of triumph. The wealth promised to her was now within reach, and the prospect of newfound success seemed tantalizingly close. However, as Agatha sat in the dim glow of her ritual chamber, examining the check, a sinking realization gripped her. Small, runic symbols, barely visible to the naked eye, adorned the corners of the paper. Panic surged through her as she recognized the ancient runes, the very symbols she had inscribed onto the parchment in her failed attempt to unleash a major demon. The room darkened, and the air grew heavy with an ominous energy. Agatha's heart raced as a portal to the netherworld opened before her. The demon she had sought to unleash against Isabella emerged, its eyes gleaming with malevolence. "You attempted to deceive me," the demon hissed, in a voice a guttural symphony of malice. "Now I've come to claim what is mine." Agatha, paralyzed by fear and regret, watched helplessly as the demon's twisted grin widened. The truth had been an elaborate ruse, a web of deception woven by Isabella to turn Agatha's own ambitions against her. The demon, now freed from the confines of his ethereal prison, prepared to exact its revenge. As the portal closed behind the vengeful entity, Agatha's chamber now sat empty as she too was pulled through the portal. The unraveling web of dark forces had reached its zenith, ensnaring all who dared to manipulate its threads. In the end, there could only ever be one winner. Months passed, and the cityscape glittered with the triumph of Vincent Hawthorne and Isabella. The once unseen threads of dark magic that had propelled Vincent's rise to success were now seamlessly woven into the fabric of their opulent lives. The scar on Vincent's skin had become a distant memory, a testament to the unseen battles fought in the shadows. Vincent and Isabella, more successful and prosperous than ever, stood together on the terrace of their new penthouse. The city sprawled beneath them, its lights a testament to the heights they had reached. Isabella's eyes sparkled with a satisfaction that transcended the mundane, and Vincent's gaze held a knowing appreciation for the enchantment that had shaped his destiny. Isabella turned to Vincent, a smile playing on her lips. "I told you I'd do anything for you, Vincent." Vincent, his gratitude evident, pulled Isabella into a tender embrace. The couple stood in the glow of their triumph, Wrapped in the blissful love that had weathered the storms of the occult, the enchantments that had once been a source of hidden power were now a harmonious part of their shared success. The unraveling web had been rewoven into a tapestry of prosperity, and the darkness that had lurked in the shadows was now a distant echo. And if you're still looking to fulfill your thirst for more horror, don't forget to check out this next video. Unless, of course, you're frozen with fear already.